Dinner. Oh, no, you stay just where you are. Here.
It looks disgusting.
You don't want it, say the word. There's others who'll be grateful for the extra.
I do want it.
Eh?
But when I get out of here...
What?
I shall see that something is done about these conditions.
Well, you know. Well, I look forward to that.
Sherlock Holmes is working on my case. Do you hear me, Sherlock Holmes?
This is more like it. No Family Herald this morning, I presume. Are you not eating? Really, it's very good. Oh, now, come on. It's bad enough you starving yourself when you have a case.
I had a case. After 4 miserable weeks of boredom and decay, and what did I do? I threw it away.
He might still come back.
I misread the man completely.
These things happen.
Not to me.
To everyone.
I was sure he wouldn't let the case drop. Everything about him said so. Joe, what's the matter with me?
At the moment? Nothing that a bit more breakfast and a little less self-pity wouldn't remedy.
You're right.
I know I am. Shall I ring for another kipper?
No. Did you hear that?
What?
The postman! I'll get it! I'll get it! Ha!
Good news. Thank God for that.
From Thor Place, Hampshire.
So you did misread him?
Oh, of course not.
Well done. Well, what did he say?
Nothing.
What do you mean?
It's not from him.
Mr. Holmes.
Mr. Cummings, my friend and partner, Dr. Watson.
Pleasure, sir.
Likewise, Mr. Cummings.
I have a trap waiting.
To take us to Thor Place?
No, Mr. Holmes, I'm afraid not.
Ah.
Not yet.
So Mr. Gibson didn't authorize your letter?
No, Mr. Holmes.
Does he even know you wrote it?
No. The Senator engaged my services to defend Miss Dunbar. He told me he wanted the best defense money could buy. I've done no more than follow his instructions.
By sending for us?
Exactly.
Against the wishes of your employer.
Oh, really, Watson?
I understand your concern, Doctor. But I'm sure I can persuade Mr. Gibson that this is the best course. Frankly, gentlemen, at the moment all the cards are against us. My client needs all the help she can get.
I'll tell you anything you want to know.
Good. Start with this. What was your relationship with Mr. Gibson's wife?
That's not an easy question to answer. Until this terrible business happened, I would have said that she liked me well enough. Well, perhaps tolerated me would be a better phrase.
My client was in sole charge of the children after all. Mrs. Gibson would hardly have permitted that if she didn't think she was a fit person.
Did she know of your relationship with her husband?
She knew I had some influence over him,
Did
yes.
she know the nature of that influence?
Do you?
Not in exact detail, no.
Then perhaps I should furnish you with exact detail.
If you consider the matter too personal.
Please do.
I was able to make him understand that one man's fortune shouldn't be built on the ruined lives of 10,000 others. That all his power and his strength could be made to work for good purposes and not just material ones. I made him see past the dollars to something more lasting.
You're claiming to have changed the entire direction of his life.
That is precisely what I did, sir.
What was Mrs. Gibson's reaction?
The subject was never mentioned. I don't believe she was capable of understanding the ties that bound her husband to me.
Surely she understood completely.
The mental and spiritual ties.
What was your attitude towards her?
I pitied her.
Why?
Because Mr. Gibson treated her very badly. A woman shouldn't be afraid of her own husband. It isn't right.
Did she know how you felt?
Oh, yes. I often reproached Mr. Gibson for the way he behaved towards her.
In public, Miss Dunbar? Before the other servants?
Certainly, Doctor. I'm not in the habit of concealing my beliefs as if I were ashamed of them.
You said until this terrible business happened. How's Mrs. Gibson's death changed your mind?
It wasn't her death. It was what happened just before it.
Whore! Scheming little whore! Deceitful, scheming, lying little bitch!
She was like a mad woman. I think she might actually have been insane.
First you steal my children, then you steal my husband. What more do you want? What's next? You want my jewels, my money, my clothes? Well, tell me!
Just a moment.
What, Mr. Holmes?
Where exactly did this meeting take place? When?
On the night of the murder. At 9 o'clock on Thor Bridge.
So you were at the bridge that evening,
My client has never denied it.
having asked Mrs. Gibson to meet you there.
No, of course not.
Oh, that's the impression we gained from the newspapers, Miss Dunbar.
Dr. Watson, a lowly governess does not summon the wife of her employer to meetings.
It was the other way round.
She asked you?
Yes, Doctor, she asked me.
Miss Dunbar, do you mean that literally? What did she say?
No, she didn't speak to me. She sent me a note.
Well, where is this note?
I destroyed it.
What?
Why, Miss Dunbar?
Because she asked me to. All this has been gone over before.
Not by me. What did this note say? The exact wording.
She asked me to meet
No,
her.
no, the exact wording.
I don't remember the exact wording. She asked me, no, she implored me to meet her at the bridge after dinner.
Did she say why?
Because she had something important to say to me. Something that had to be said in private. I was to leave an answer on the sundial in the garden.
Didn't that strike you as odd?
Of course it did. But she said that secrecy was vital, that no one must see us discussing anything out of the ordinary.
Did that explanation satisfy you?
No, but I thought I knew the real reason.
She didn't want her husband to know about the meeting,
Exactly. So I did as she asked and destroyed the note.
whereas she kept your reply very carefully.
Yes, I was surprised to hear that.
You didn't notice it in her hand when you met?
I was rather too distracted by what she was saying.
Yes, of course. When she made these accusations, what did you answer?
Nothing.
You didn't try to defend yourself?
She wouldn't have heard me. I don't think she even noticed when I left.
How long did you stay with her?
Not more than a few minutes.
So you left her at, say, 9:05 at the latest. What time did death occur, Cummings?
The police doctor couldn't be sure.
Yes, you never can. Did he venture an educated guess?
2 to 3 hours before he examined the body.
Which was when?
11:30 that night.
Yeah, so she was killed not long after you left her, Miss Dunbar. Did you see anyone else in the area as you walked away?
No, Mr. Holmes.
Did you hear a shot?
No, but...
But what?
Well, I'm ashamed to say that I was so agitated after the things she said. I was hardly capable of noticing anything.
A considerable pity.
I'm aware of it.
Now, the vital point. This pistol that was found in your room, had you ever seen it before?
What the devil is the meaning of this?
Senator, if you'll just let me explain what
Shut up. By God, I'll have you disbarred from this.
Mr. Gibson, please, listen to reason.
I don't know why you think you're here anyway. It's Holmes who's the detective, isn't it?
I am Mr. Holmes's partner. We work together.
Not for me, you don't. I thought I'd made that clear.
You, sir, have made several things abundantly clear.
What the devil is that supposed to mean?
I thought I was acting for the best.
Answer me, sir.
No, Mr. Gibson, you answer me.
This is
Do you
outrageous.
sincerely want to see Miss Dunbar saved from the gallows?
What sort of question is
The
that?
sort I should care to have answered.
Of course I do, man.
But then you stand in need of my services.
There are other detectives.
You came to me in the first place because you were told that I was the best. You were not misinformed.
I wasn't told that you were damnably rude and no respecter of privacy.
I respect only the facts, the truth.
And what is the truth?
That Grace Dunbar is no murderer.
Can you prove that?
Yes, I can.
I'll see you in my office at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Good timing, Mr. Cummings. Another half hour and the light will be gone.
Forgive me, but is there likely to be anything to see after all this time?
Oh, probably not. But Holmes likes to get a feel for the scene of the crime. Soak up the atmosphere, you understand.
Ah. Well, Mr. Holmes, she was found...
Quiet.
Oh, sorry.
That's very good. Now, you were saying?
The body was found just over there. The police marked the spot with those stones.
Oh, very good. How was it lying?
On the back.
Yeah. Any traces of a struggle?
None.
Now, tell me about the note.
It was clutched in Mrs. Gibson's left hand.
Clutched?
So I understand they had to prise open her fingers to get it.
You know, there's something about that note that's been bothering me.
Me too. Carry on.
Well, assuming that the reports were accurate, it said, "Come to Thor Bridge at 9 this evening."
That's spot on, Doctor.
But Miss Dunbar insists that it was a reply. Hardly reads like a reply, now does it?
Yes, excellent, Watson. Mr. Cummings?
Miss Dunbar swears that what she wrote was, "I shall come to Thor Bridge." I've been working on the assumption that part of the sheet was lost when it was removed.
Ah, so one edge of the paper was torn.
Well, actually, no, it wasn't.
Yes, interesting.
Interesting. Peculiar, more like.
Some grades of paper do tear in a clean, straight line.
True enough. Oh, what the devil? Holmes?
Come over here.
What were you doing?
Ruining a perfectly good walking cane.
I can see that. Why, for heaven's
I
sake?
was trying to chip the stonework
Why, Mr. Holmes?
to see if I could reproduce this. Yes, do you see?
Where? Ah, yes. I've got it. A chip out of the balustrade. Looks fresh.
Curious, isn't it?
Probably done by a passerby, a rambler or some such.
You think so? Hey, you must have some interestingly violent ramblers in this district.
Are you sure you won't have one of these?
Quite sure.
Just as you like. Now, where's your partner?
Talking to the staff.
Delegation, eh? I never believed in it. Well, I suppose you were quite justified in wanting the facts, but I can assure you that my relationship with Miss Dunbar doesn't have any bearing on this case.
That's for me to decide, is it not?
I guess most men have a little private reserve in some corner of their souls where they don't welcome intruders. I'd say you knew all about that.
We're discussing you, not me.
And you burst right into that area. I'm not used to being treated like that. Well, now the barriers are down and you can explore where you will. What do you want to know?
The truth.
Well, I met my wife when I was gold hunting in Brazil. Oh, she was rare and wonderful and passionate. Tropical, very different from the American women I'd known. I loved her, and I married her. It was only when the romance had passed that I realized we had nothing, absolutely nothing in common.
Your love faded.
I'm not pretending to be any better than I am. You've seen Miss Dunbar. She's a very beautiful woman. I couldn't live under the same roof as her and not feel the way I did. Do you blame me, Holmes? I said that I'd marry her if I could.
Indeed.
But since that wasn't possible, I offered to do anything in my power to make her happy.
If she would do the same for you.
I told her money was no object.
Very generous, I'm sure.
Now see here, Holmes, I'm not asking for your criticism.
It's only for the young lady's sake that I touch your case at all. Nothing she's accused of is worse than what you've just admitted, that you try to ruin a defenseless girl who was under your protection. Some of you rich men have to be taught that all the world can't be bribed into condoning your offenses.